Hebrews 4, verse 6 to 7. So, God's rest is there for people to enter. But those who first heard this good news failed to enter because they disobeyed God. So, God set another time for entering his rest, and that time is today. God announced this through David much later in the words already quoted. Today, when you hear his voice, don't harden your hearts. Now, that was a reading from the book of Hebrews. Once again, we don't know who wrote that book, but by the grace of God, they were made wise. And this specific passage right here, it speaks about entering God's rest. And this is rest that was set from the beginning. Remember, seventh day, God rested when he finished his work. Now, the thing about it is that God had already set a time to rest. It's just the people back then had disobeyed God because they refused to share the good news of his rest. They instead decided to keep it to themselves, not sharing the good news of God's rest. Now, in his anger, God had made an oath that they, which is us, will never enter his resting place. But all that is changed through his son Christ Jesus, of course. Remember that famous verse in Matthew? All those who are burdened and weary, come to me and I will give you rest. So you see, Jesus was already the message that we were to enter rest. And also it was quoted through King David that the time that God has set rest for us in him is today. And what must we do today in all the days of our life? Share the good news of his rest. Because a lot of people are doubtful in this world, or they do not know about it. So instead of disobeying God beforehand, this time let us make it known to others that the day of rest for the Lord is near to come. Remember, don't keep God's laws to yourself, otherwise you're cut off from Christ. Go ahead and share it around. Because this is not just rest for those who think they're righteous, but rest for all who are righteous in Christ.